to my masterminded, beautiful, gorgeous, intelligent women. How are you guys doing?
Very well.
They're doing better than they sound. They're doing better than they sound. We're going to be having amazing conversations around being a woman. Hello, ladies. It is hot. Is it hot all of a sudden, or is it because we've started?
Because we started.
Because you are doing okay. But when we started channel, I just saw the fun go. But it's a polite hangout. And I am very blessed to have met all of you. We've met, I think, once before.
Yeah.
And with Susan, bully of my life, the ultimate Yanni. You see her phone call and you're worried. You're like, what did I do? What did I promise? I still owe you something? You know I owe you something, right? Yes, yeah, I do. Yes. We'll get around to it now that you've started on this journey. But yesterday we were having a very interesting conversation at the pool. Some gorgeous babes had decided to just go do their thing at night. And I was freezing, but then they were just okay. Masi, you were just fine in the pool at that time, and it was about 6:30. And we just started talking about, being a woman and what that means. And we had different stories to share about our friends, and sometimes you look at other people and you don't look inward, and looking at them and their lives and what it is that they are going through, and it just begged the question, what does it mean for me as a woman? Where is the template coming from? Is it coming from my mom, how I saw her raise me, how I saw my aunties behave when they were together? Was it the church? Was it the school? If like you went to a girls' school, what was it? What defines, how do you feel when you think about you as a woman? Maybe we'll start with you, and then you can start with your name. This is where we floss and brag.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Victoria Adamesa, and I'm a teacher by passion.
I like that.
Yeah, I love teaching. So it's hard to respond to that question without thinking about me as a human being first.
Okay.
So I would like to approach it from that angle. Who am I as a human being? First.
Okay.
Then I'll think
what it is
to be
a woman.
Yeah. So thinking of it that way, I grew up in a Christian home. So a typical answer would be, I am made in the image and likeness of God.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, I would say that's a typical answer. But that has come to make sense now.
Okay.
Years later, life can hit you so hard till you forget who you are. And I would say I'd approach it from that sense. Who am I? I can confidently say, me knowing that I'm made in the image and likeness of God has helped me to be who I am today.
Wow.
Yeah. So now, thinking of it as a woman before, now thinking of it that now I'm made in the image and likeness of God, and now who am I as a woman? With that foundation, I can confidently say, I used to think being emotional is a bad thing, but I love the fact that I can express myself emotionally.
Yes.
I love the fact that I don't have the muscles to pretend to carry heavy things around. Because, it's okay. Like, I love being
not able to do that.
Yeah, and someone else can do it. That's fine. I don't want to fight that because I'm comfortable with my strength, just the way I am.
Yes.
I love the curves, like I don't have muscles and I'm comfortable with that.
Yes.
I love the fact that, there is that aspect of nurturing. They say women have that, and I've experienced that as a teacher. So I love that aspect as well. So I think I can approach it from that sense. Probably hear from others. I'll be curious to know what their thoughts are.
But now we know who had the proper marks.
Right.
You know. But I love that you went back to being a person first, because that is who we really are. And then, basing that on the foundation that you have, in God, and then translating that to now I am a woman. That is beautiful. So are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Always
and I'm
ready.
steady. Yeah, so my name is Susan. I'm an entrepreneur. I work with the Street University where we train, we fund, and we launch entrepreneurs in a very unconventional way, the street way.
Yeah.
So when you asked about being a woman, it's interesting because I don't actually even think of myself, and which is good because it doesn't define. I'm a person that I'm like, okay, so I'm a woman. So I think that the thing that I celebrate is the ability to love and have friendships and connect, which doesn't happen with men. We met, and even if you think about the number of times we've met, all of us, and we just connect and we're off and we open our hearts and fungua roho, those things.
Yes.
It's amazing, So I think I celebrate that about women, and the fact that we can multitask and do a lot of things. And also the fact that we have, as you said, intuition and a sixth sense, just something that, and you can't even define, And I think when the men begin to recognize that, they're like, they go with that. But you're like, I just have a thing. And then it turns out that it was actually right. So, and the fact that we nurture, for me, even the ability, as she said, to be emotional,
Yeah.
I mean, if you need to cry, we had a boo-hoo session.
Oh, yes, we did. Oh, my God, yes, we did.
And the tears are just
It had been a while since tears came down my eyes.
And
it's
in
like,
public, and you're like,
I was like, it's in front of people I've never met before. Go back.
But that's the beauty about, being a woman, that we have no apologies. And I think also that, coming of age comes with it.
Yeah.
Before we'd have been like, oh man, I'm embarrassed, I can't do this thing. But, we shed tears and we moved on swiftly.
Yes, we did.
You're like,
yes, we did.
Yeah, so deal with it. Yeah, so that's for me, that's it.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah.
Darling, nimesema unakaa vizuri leo?
Oh, you didn't. Please say it again.
Okay. You look really good. Thank you. You stepped down the stairs and I was like, Allah, this is the couch you've been kona. Masi, kindly introduce yourself, what you do, and then tell us what it is that it feels to be a woman.
So my name is Massimo. I am an entrepreneur in the area of agribusiness. I am a mother, I'm a wife, see how it comes.
I know. We're going there. I love that you brought it out. I love it.
I didn't even realize. When you talk about being a woman,
yes,
for me, I look at it from a point where I think during the COVID period, that's when we started asking ourselves. Like for me, I started asking myself, who am I really when all these things have been taken away from me? Yeah. Because the reality is, we grow up in a society where you're brought up to just do this. Be a sister, be a big sister, be a student, be a worker, be all these things.
Yeah.
And in the process of all that, we get lost. And so for me, it was a good time to introspect and to find out who am I really when all these frills have been removed from me.
Yeah.
And so I get back to myself and appreciate that I'm a creature of God. I like Psalms 139. I just have to go back to that because it amazes me to date. How God would say that before any of your days came to be, I knew each of them.
Yeah.
Before you were formed in your mother's womb, it really makes me emotional. That He knew me. Yeah. That makes me comfortable. That makes me feel
that
good,
your
and
future
to think that
is like somebody's got you.
Yes, somebody.
That I don't have to worry about all these many other
I
things.
don't have to be all
He
these
knows
things.
my story.
He knows me. He knows my future. And also being a mother, I think it's something I would say superhuman. You actually brought a human being out of your body.
Yes.
That God actually used you to bring someone else. For me, I find that out of this world amazing.
It is amazing.
So I'm very grateful to be here, very grateful to meet other women, to share our stories. It's amazing.
It is. And when we talk about women, we've grown up being selfless and always taking care of other people. I think it was a thing. When you were tiny and you had little sisters, little brother, if they made a mistake, it was you.
Yes.
You're the big one. Take care. Why didn't you? And then when you grow up, you get to a certain age, then conversations around how you need to know how to cook because I mean you're man. You need to know how unajua kushona kifungo. Unajua kufanya kupika. Unajua yani it was always we were trained to take care of ourselves and others, but mostly other people. So at some point it felt like we are here for that mission. But then we are here, we found each other while we were trying to find ourselves.
Yes.
And I don't know how that came about for each and every one of us, because for you to get to a point where you're like, okay, so I've done everything, mom, you said, church, you said, grandparents, you said, now I am here for me, and I'm choosing myself to walk into a journey that chooses me. How did that come about for each and every one of you? Anyone can go.
Well, it's so interesting, yeah. I mean, in the African context, man, the woman is looked at as a super person.
Because we are, I mean, no apologies, but then they shouldn't be taking advantage of that.
Yeah. And I think for me, where the turnaround was, because like you say, society, how you grow up, we grow up in a family setup, and you're being socialized as you grow up.
Yeah.
More is taught than taught. You actually see what's happening, and then you become that even without you knowing, because you're looking at your mom, and you might say you want to be different, but you saw your mom doing this. You become that because you're being socialized.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd say that part of that is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but for me to find myself, I honestly had to, and I'm still finding that in God. That's why I said from the beginning, it's hard for me to define who I am without thinking who God says I am.
Okay.
I have to think that first for me to know who I am.
Yeah.
Otherwise, society, and because I've already been socialized, I'll be what it wants me to be. And which I'm not saying is a bad thing.
Yeah.
But for me to find the original Victoria,
Yes.
the someone
You go back to
39.
the manufacturer's settings. What does he say about me?
The one she's talking about is someone 39.
Yeah.
That you, before you were even born, I had written down everything about you. And for me to go back there, I have to be in touch with this creator. And for me, that's where it stands.
And thank you so much for that. Sue?
Yeah, so for mine is two-pronged. One is realizing that I'm created in the image of God, and God loves me unconditionally. And the thing that did it for me is that there's nothing that I can do that adds or subtracts. That's amazing.
Oh, wait, say that again.
There's nothing that I can do that subtracts or adds God love. So it's a constant.
Oh,
When you get that, because you always think, oh, something bad is happening to me, so I'm not, And then when you do something that you're supposed to be doing, oh, God is clapping.
Yeah.
It's
constant.
It's constant. So so nothing takes away from that. And then I think, secondly, for me, the thing that did it is, because I'm not married, so at some point, you always, you grow up with a thing of, oh, I'm going to get married and everything. And then you're waiting for Prince Charming to come.
The man.
Mr.
Right.
Knight in
shining
shining armor. And so he's coming on a white horse. On a white horse. Alexandro.
Yeah.
So that did not happen. But so what it did for me, I realized, I said, you know what? Being married or not married does not add or take anything. I am complete as I am. Yes. So my choice is that this man, I get on with my life, this man will come and find me on the way.
Absolutely.
So he's not my sponsor. I'm like, this is what I'm bringing to the table. What are you bringing?
Yep.
So that for me did it. So I was like, you know what, girl, this is self-love. You need to go on holiday. You go. Whatever you need to do, you do. So that I am saying, by the way, when you step in, this is the SI unit. You see how I am?
I have been able to do this.
You see what I'm doing?
All by myself.
So we are, this is the
so
lowest
what
possible.
about you? What have you been doing?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So that thing for me does it for self-love. I mean, I don't wait. I do whatever I need to do. And my life is not on hold because I know I am complete as I am.
I love that.
You know, so that is just the icing. So all the things of taking everything that I need to do, I'm not waiting for anybody to do it. So when he comes, he's in the template.
I love it.
Yeah,
and
so
I think it's important because most of the time, especially when you get married very, very young and maybe straight from high school, you do not know who you are. Oko university, you're struggling, and then you don't know really what it is that you want with yourself, what it is that you want. So if someone comes into your life and tells you, you know what, this is what I expect from you, then you give them that, not knowing what it is that you expect or want from them. So when you find yourself, then you're able to say, I can smell BS from here to Timbuktu and back, and I'm not taking it. So it's important at whatever age, at whatever, stage you are in life, for you to be able to know and pour into yourself. And I think that leads me to you, Masi, as a mom. And I like that you introduced. So my name is Masi. I am in the agribusiness scene, and I am a mother and a wife, and and you caught yourself.
Yes.
And you caught yourself right there. Is it difficult for you to choose you when it comes to I have babies, and when did that begin for you, that journey? Was it difficult for you to be like, you know what, I have kids? Because you're here with hubby, and you have children, and they're not here. So it's really a beautiful thing to see.
Thank you. And it's a good question you've asked, because many of us, I'm in a few groups of married women and mothers, and we find ourselves asking ourselves, who are you? The first thing you answer is what attaches you to be who you are. You say, I'm a wife of someone, I'm a mother of someone. But standing by yourself and saying, I am this, takes time, it takes a process. And many times I've caught myself in that place where you get married, you get kids, and you get lost in that mix. You're either doing things for everyone. You're always, did the baby eat? At the end of that, you're like, did I eat? But you're so tired. The next morning, it's the same thing. So for me, it took stepping aside to find out who I really am, what my values are, what is it that I want even for my children to model.
Yeah.
What is it that I want even my sons to grow up and see, even in the women that they will marry, that you meet someone who is complete by themselves. Yes. I like what she said.
Yep.
It's not that you're coming to tell them what to do or,
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in a good place, in a good journey, because I think it's all a journey, not a stage, not a destination. So finding myself as a human being, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, so that I can be able to be productive in each of these places. Because we find ourselves, and I've heard that from a few married women saying how the men are complaining that we have taken them to the back seat. Now the children are the main thing.
Yes.
And and in the process, now after the children and the husband, after that, you actually lose yourself in the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important for each one of us, whichever stage you're in life, to find out who you are, whether you're married, whether you're a mother, whether you're, an auntie, and all these positions that we occupy.
Yeah. When we talk about, self-care and self-love, it does not mean selfishness at all. It just means I am able to love and care for you more because I am full. I am really full. I have enough for everybody else. I am not struggling to find a piece of love somewhere in me to give you. It is because I have taken care of myself and because I love myself this much. That is how I am able to be a full, person and an active person in society. But when you look at society now, do you feel like we, as women, somehow we were set up to fail? Is it?
That's a tricky question.
Does it feel that way?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I'd say yes, because it wasn't done intentionally.
That is true.
Because even our mothers, that's what they saw. You know, you only give what you sow. So I'd say yes, in the sense that, yeah, they grew up knowing as a woman, this is what you're supposed, your role is what defines who you are, not who you really are. So as a woman, you're supposed to, you know, get married, take care of your husband, take care of your children. And that's, I think we've been equipped to do that, but that shouldn't define who you are.
Who you are.
It shouldn't.
Not the roles that I'm supposed to
Yes,
do.
those are roles.
That if I don't know how to do a good ugali, then there's no
Not
chance
good.
for me to ever that nitarudishwa kwetu.
Yes.
You know, like the things that were said
It's
that
true, yeah.
made a woman feel like it's probably getting married is the epitome of being a woman, and there's so much more than that.
Exactly. So me, I'd say it did that. It kind of has robbed women of who they are, because for me, I think even not being married has helped me find who I am first.
Okay.
And I've found that in the word, I can't go away from the word.
That is where we are at.
I can't go away because I need to know who God says who I am first. And then, now be me. I can go on holiday, like you're saying, by myself and be fine. I go to the movies alone and I'm fine. Yeah.
I need to get around to that. I did my first holiday alone last year. It was weird. It was really weird. I couldn't believe that I thought it, and I think that is where the conscious journey of choosing me began. Not long ago. It's not even 1 year old, but when I say last year, it's not a year old since that journey began for me. And most of the times, especially if you look like okay, you are an okay woman, you are in this kind of job, then you look like you're well put together, but it's a lie. And this, you've witnessed, there's nothing put together about this woman. There is nothing. And so last year, so the first thing, you start with big things. I said, and a holiday alone. And by day one, I remember I'd spent the day, and I was taken there by two of my friends. So many escorts.
So not even alone.
So it's alone. So this is what. So it's a week-long holiday.
Oh wow.
I start. No, don't wow. That. So the first 2 days, I am in Mombasa with my cousin living at her house. My holiday has already begun, right? But I'm not alone because I've booked. After 2 days, I'm going to be at a hotel alone. But then two of my friends are here. I'm just like, let's go. So we get to the hotel, and they all understand what I'm trying to do, but I'm not asking them to leave. Then they're just like, you really need to do this by yourself because this is what you wanted. Usually we are with you, but because you've decided, right? So they leave, and I feel lonely. You know how you don't know how to face yourself? Or like, so now we are here, what do we do? What is the story here? And at night, I went just before dinner, I started journaling. And I started writing what I'm feeling and how I'm wondering, like, what's the point of all this? Like, maybe could I even just make a friend here then, And after I finished that, and I was genuine in my heart, like, I am so confused, I don't know what's happening here. As I was walking out and locking the door, the next door opened, a lady stepped out, and this was day 2, this was not day 1, this was day 2. Opened up, locked her door, and she was alone. I'd seen her at dinner the previous day and breakfast in the morning. She was all alone at a table. And I was like, oh God, is this you? So I said, hi. And then she said, hi. I was like, okay. So it's a long walk from the rooms to the dining room. So we walk all the way talking to each other, and I was like, Figo, like, all you needed is for me to tell you that I can't keep quiet for long. And it's as simple as that. So I went there, trying to find me, but then he knows me, he gets me, he understands that I want to bounce off ideas.
I know.
So sometimes this journey is not easy, but we take it. We take it. Yeah. So I don't know how you do the holidays alone. It's just, or the movies.
Hiking alone.
Watch out. No, that's
really?
That's sad. No, what if you're mauled by a king buffalo over there?
But the thing is, it's not really alone. I went with a fresh group of people. I didn't know anyone. but I was connected by a friend who understands this is a safe group.
Okay.
So yeah, so I went, and like you, actually met someone there who we ended up being friends.
Okay, I was hoping for dating, but it's fine.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's the
Okay,
route.
okay. How was it for you to deal with, nilini mzee watoto basi hata tuletee watoto unajua achana na mzee.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
I think number one is that I have, my mom was my greatest cheerleader because she was a Christian and she was like, you know what? When the time comes, you'll come. And then I thank God for my relatives. I don't have even one aunt who has ever called me and asked me what's up.
What?
Imagine.
What?
I mean,
Oh, that's huge.
I know.
Imagine, I don't have.
I know.
So sometimes we sit and we laugh, and then we laugh. I'm like, oh gosh, But no relative has ever sat me down and been like, chick, what's up? But again, because all of them are Christians, so that foundation, number one. And then I think for me, as I said, obviously, I kissed enough frogs. And for me, what I learned is through all those relationships, I keep saying, it's about learning.
Yeah.
I learned what I don't want. And let me tell you something, I truly thank God that I am single now, because when I get married, it will be so different. It's like, what are you bringing to the table? And if I see what I don't like, I'm not going to take it. And I know what I want, and I know what I'm not going to take. And I say, thank God, if I probably got married earlier, I would be a mess. Because you're like, I'm a romantic for meals and booze.
Yes.
Oh, the guy should be doing this. And me, these are my roles. And background, And I think for me, so now I'm so mature about relationships that in terms of, it's not about the roles, it's about the strengths.
Yes.
So there's nothing wrong with the guy going to the kitchen. And the fact that I cannot cook ugali, does not define me. I leave it. Let me not even go down that road. Because I'm like, that's not what I should be bringing. I am looking for intellectual. I'm looking for a partner that we're doing life with.
Yes.
It's not defined by me being in the kitchen or not, or me serving you food or not. I'm like, yeah. So those things have helped me. And then again, as I said, when I got that, and it's really anchored in God.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? It does not define me, because the flip side is this, and the sad reality. I think out of my friends who got married, there are very few who are standing. And there's so many people who are in marriages for the sake of I am Mrs., but you cry every night. And I think that's the thing when it comes again to self-love. I would rather be a happy solo chick than I'm Mrs. and I've got all this, but it's hell.
Yeah.
And there's so many people out there who unfortunately are in that place, but all because of the status, or the second thing is that you're not financially independent, and so you're relying on the guy. And going back to your earlier question, is that are we set up? I think it's different seasons where our mothers were coming from. The men went out and the women, took care of the family. But now times have changed. So, and I think that's what women are coming out and beginning to realize, you've got to love yourself, because again, even in the Bible says, Jesus said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And you find that when you love yourself and you're happier, everybody plus the cat and the dog in the house are happy. And when you're upset, you're just And so for me, that's the thing of, it's a choice.
Okay,
It's really a choice. Yeah.
So on this particular platform, you're the one who's married, so we're going to throw these questions your way, right? And the scripture talks about submission, and it's one thing that has been, everybody's fighting it, and sometimes you don't understand what it means. And for you, finding yourself and finding your place, because I think it goes hand in hand. The more you find yourself, the more you find your role, and you're stable in it and comfortable in it, even in marriage. What does submission mean to you?
I think going back to what we were discussing earlier about the society pressurizing you to be in a certain way, in a certain place.
At a certain time.
Exactly, yeah.
And you have a clock that is about to expire and blow up in your face.
if you don't find yourself, I think even when it comes to careers, you find that we are all being told to become this. It's now that the world is changing, and we are now appreciating other careers like the arts, you doing your thing.
Yes.
Those kind of things. I'm happy that we are getting to that place where we are able to appreciate where everyone is. We don't have to all be doctors. We don't all have to be bankers or whatever else. We can all be in our spaces, and thank God for where we are, because again, we bring solutions to everyone.
That is true.
We need the diversity in this world.
Yeah.
Coming back to being a wife and submission.
Yes.
We got married in that area, in that era of submission. Ataniona, you will know who I am.
I don't think women understood it.
You find women going out and they're like, he did this, he did this, he did this, he did this. And then it's constantly about what did he do? And not about introspecting to find out, are you actually fulfilling the role that God created you to be? I mean, aside from all the societal pressure and seeing the social media telling us who the modern women are, what we need to be. You find people talking about, oh, you know what? I can't take that. Your man did that to you. I can't do that.
Take that.
I have all these people lined up to take care of all those needs.
Girl,
and all those.
Yourself. One foot in, one out.
Yes, have that secret account. Have
Yes,
all
yes.
these things on the side. But when I look at myself and when I go back to God's word, where we are all, I believe, centered around, is that there's a special place for me. When I submit, I know it's not out of coercion. It's not out of what the society says.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I love me.
Yeah.
I'm submitting because submission gives me a certain power, a certain strength. It
That is
actually
true.
brings out my strength.
That is so true.
Because if I go there, you find that they say if you have someone with two heads, that's a monster. And really, the outcome will be just that.
Yes.
Because you find people are fighting, or who's bringing more bread in the house, who's bringing, you fight over the children, you fight over everything. And yet, if you took your role as a wife, and he took his role as a husband, it would be a different kind of orchestration, a beautiful thing that even the children grow up knowing that this is how God intended their family to look like. Could we go back to the word of God and find out what he called us to be, submissive as wives?
Absolutely.
So I'm that traditional woman.
No. You are
Still.
that woman.
I am that woman.
I am Mercy, the woman who loves my life and what it is that I'm doing. And it has a reason. It's not like you're doing it out of a vacuum.
Yes.
You just told her that. And men are told to love us as well. So they just gotta
Exactly.
go ahead and do that. Just love us.
And something about submission is that as you submit, the man, it somehow brings out, it makes the man to love you. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but it's just like that. That's how they're wired to be. Watupende tu.
Watupende tu. Ladies, it's been fun, but your 15 minutes of fame are done.
Already? No way. We were just starting.
I'm holding anything. It is your time to say it now.
Okay.
Or forever hold your peace. Is there anything in there?
You don't know. Anyway.
I knew there was something in there.
I'd say, anyway, we've talked about so many things.
Yes, we have.
I'd say life is defined by who God says life is. And I look forward to getting married, but that doesn't define me.
Good stuff.
Because God says it's a good thing. And that's why I look forward to it.
Yeah.
And I know when I get there, I'm going to have a really good time.
Yes.
Yes.
You and me both.
I know.
And Susan.
Yes. But
Yeah,
because
I was just like, you're
it's
so
a-
full of
it's a
yourself,
good-
Mwix.
it's a good thing.
Yes.
Being a mother is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I look forward to those things. But that does not define me.
That's true.
God is the one who defines me. And until then, I'll be going on holiday
Yes.
alone. Oh, but we can go.
Yes, let's do it.
People.
Oh yeah, now we can go.
Hey, have you guys seen her? See her walking. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah.
Mlikuwa na point ingine ya kumalizia? Anything? You're remaining, so you might as well hold your points.
Are you ready? You're just coming out.
No.
I'll hold it.
Anything
I
else?
think
Yes.
self-love and self-care is a journey that we all need to take as women. If we could be able to allow ourselves to be, appreciate yourself, celebrate yourself for wherever you are at, I think you are creating something beautiful out of your life. And you know what? I think the more we love ourselves, we are able to pour out into other people's lives. You know, they say that you cannot pour out of an empty cup.
No, you can't.
So the more you love yourself, then you're able to give others out of that. And that is one thing I would love to tell all women, especially married women. It's important.
Yeah.
It's something that we constantly struggle with. In fact, my first time when I got into a holiday by myself, I couldn't believe it. I was just like you. I'm like, where
What
are my
happens
children?
now?
My children. Who is taking care of my
you feeling
children?
guilty?
Yes, I felt, oh my gosh, I felt so guilty. In fact, I didn't tell many people. I just went, I have a great husband. He allowed me to. But it was difficult. Every single evening I would sit down and wonder, what is going on with my husband? What is going on with my children? All these people who are expecting from me.
Did life continue?
Life
Did anybody
went
get hurt?
on.
Did
No
they
one got
eat?
hurt.
Husband
They
was
ate.
okay?
They were all
They were
okay.
okay. So next time you just go.
I know. I've learned.
Go.
I've learned.
Yeah.
And what a
Nothing
blessing to be around such women like you guys. Yes.
Mimi na wa love. Exactly.